1:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Niranjan Abesundara. The President said the future of Sri Lanka will be determined by the economic policies implemented over the next 5 years. Mr. Dr. Mandagul said that he will support a leader who has far-sighted vision of the country's future program. Sri Lankan economy bounces back as inflation dips and sharp industrial sector recovery. Percent week will begin from tomorrow. It has been revealed that more Sri Lankan people are arriving at the OPD and hospital to take treatment when compared to other countries in the region. And World News Coast Guard threw migrants overboard to their deaths, witnesses say. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that the future of Sri Lanka will be determined by the economic policies implemented over the next 5 years. The President delivered the statement while addressing the youth and business community in Mannar during his participation in the youth conference held yesterday. The President initially attended the Mannar District Youth Conference yesterday at the conference hall in Mannar Town Hall. The conference-themed Journey for a Bright Future included an award ceremony where the President presented certificates and cash prizes to students who excelled in the 2023-2024 GCE Advanced Examination. President Wickremesinghe interacted directly with the youth, addressing their questions and providing positive responses. He also explained that over the past 4 years, job creation was hindered by the COVID-19 pandemic and economic crisis. He, however, assured that the upcoming economic program would create new job opportunities for those previously unable to secure employment. The President emphasized that it is up to the youth to decide whether they wish to advance their own future and contribute to the country through the government's program. Additionally, the President Wickremesinghe convened a meeting with the business community of Mannar Direct District yesterday as well. The President emphasized that continuing the current program economic policies will attract a significant number of investors to the country in the future. Mr. Dr. Mandagul said that he will support a leader who has a far-sighted vision on the country's future program with IMF loan agreement signed until the year 2028. Mr. Dr. Mandagul stated that whenever the government plans are, when preparing the next budget proposal, they should act according to the agreements reached with the IMF. It has been stated that the country needs $5,018 million to cover the gap of the external resources that will be created next year. The IMF has agreed to provide $700 million to cover the budget deficit. It is hoped that $400 million will be provided by the World Bank, and the Asian Development Bank will provide $300 million. Sri Lanka's economy showed significant growth more than anticipated in the first quarter, making a strong recovery from a severe foreign exchange crisis. While 5.3% expansion in January-March marked an increase from the previous 3 months and was a huge improvement on the 10.7% contraction in the same quarter last year, industrial sector was also indicated a sharp recovery with an expansion of 11.8% in the first quarter, according to the State Minister of Finance, Ronnie Siamadapitia. Siamadapitia said the country with a negative economy of less than 12% recorded in the last quarter of 2022, the people look at this situation with a positive eye, will observe the economic journey of Sri Lanka with hope. Furthermore, State Minister said overall annual growth of 2024 will be around 2.2%, as per the forecast of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Poson Week begins from tomorrow and will be conducted until the 24th of this month. The Secretary Anuradhapura Janaka Jayasundara said the Poson Festival will be conducted centering on the Atamasthana, Mihintali and Tantirimale. It is believed that more than 1 million devotees will arrive in Anuradhapura sacred city. A special bus and train service will be operated for the convenience of the devotees. Meanwhile, all liquor shops will be closed from tomorrow till the 24th due to the Poson Week. Secretary to the Minister of Health, Dr. Panitha Mahipal, has pointed out that more Sri Lankan people are arriving at the OPD and hospitals to take treatment when compared to other countries in the region. And about 50 million people are obtaining treatment from the government hospitals, and another 55 million are taking treatment from the private sector. He also stated there is some problem in the treatment provided by the hospitals and disease protection unit of the country. He said the health production program and disease prevention program should be implemented. He made the remarks at an observation visit at the General Hospital of Mathare District. That was local news.
The main news news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The chairman of the Election Commission, RMA Ratnayaka, said that a date of the presidential election will be announced after certifying the 2024 voter register. He also stated that the commission has the power to announce the date after the 17th of next month. RMA Ratnayaka said that related work is currently being carried out at the district level. He further stated that it is expected to conduct the presidential election between 17th of September and 17th of October. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board said that the water supply in Godagama, Homagama, Panipitya, Palangwata, Rukmalgama and Mathegod areas have been interrupted until further notice. The water supply to these areas have been interrupted due to the damage in the transmission pipeline from the Kaltuava treatment plant. According to reports, the water transmission pipeline from Kaltuava to treatment plant had burst at Godagama near the High Level Road owing to a vehicle accident. That came to in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Greek Coast Guard threw migrants overboard to their deaths, witnesses say. Conscription squads sent Ukrainian men into hiding. Singapore races to clean up beaches after oil spill. The Greek Coast Guard has caused the deaths of dozens of migrants in the Mediterranean over a 3-year period, witnesses say, including 9 who were deliberately thrown into the water. The 9 are among more than 40 people who are alleged to have died as a result of being forced out of Greek territorial waters or taken back out to the sea after reaching Greek island. BBC analysts found. Greek Coast Guard told an investigation it strongly rejects all accusations of illegal activities. He showed footage of 2 people being loaded into a Greek Coast Guard boat and then abandoned on a dinghy to a former senior Greek Coast Guard officer. When he got up from his chair and with his mic still on, he said it was obviously illegal and an international crime. Dark storm clouds threatened to send Sahi and Tanya's beach wedding, but as a couple walked down a long white staircase to greet their guests, empty chairs signaled there was a bigger problem. In total, half of their guests were missing. The family and friends sent their apologies but explained the risk of attending has been too great. What if they had been caught by one of the conscription squads, which now roam Ukraine's streets? With many of its soldiers dead, injured, exhausted, the Ukrainian government has stepped up its efforts to mobilize much more men. Singapore authorities are scrambling to clean up a major oil spill that has blackened the state city's southern coastline days after a shipping accident. On Friday, Netherlands flagged dredging boat crashed into a Singaporean fuel ship merged in the shipping straits of the nation. Authorities said dredger loss of engine power led it to drift into the Singaporean vessel, punching its oil trap. At least half the oil of its tank, about 400 tons, spilled out, with large quantities washed ashore. The origin caused a rupture of one of the Marine Honours oil cargo tanks, and its contents of low sulfur fuel were released into the sea, Singapore Maritime and Environment Registers said in a joint statement. Back to the headlines of the world news. Greek Coast Guard threw migrants overboard to their deaths, witnesses say. Conscription squads send Ukrainian men into hiding. Singapore racers to clean up the beaches after oil spill. That was world news.
Development news.
The Minister of Transport announced today that inauguration of a new and upgraded railway line extending from Anuradhapura to Mihintale. This railway line was constructed with Indian loan assistance. That came to you in Development News.
Moving on with Sports News.
An eliminated Sri Lanka overwhelmed the Netherlands by 83 runs in the final Group D match of the T20 World Cup at the Darren Summer Stadium in Lucia on Sunday. Kusal Mendes and middle order batsman Charit Asalanka posted identical scores of 46 to set up the pace for the 2014 champions in a total of 201 for 6, the first 200-plus total ever posted at this ground in a T20 International. The Dutch faded after a bright start, being dismissed for 118 of 16.4 overs in reply. That was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the National Lotteries Board say that lottery trade stalls will be implemented in all premises of railway stations in the island. The first trade stall, which was constructed under this project, was opened yesterday. That came to you in business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On economic news, the first time the Export Development Board will use the first ever South Sri Lankan Textile Apparel Roadshow, which will begin today and then tomorrow, June 18th, at the Lindley Hall, London, to launch Sri Lanka's National Export Board Brand's Creative Sri Lanka 2030 program. That came to you in economic news. And we move on to the weather.
Weather report.
The prevailing rainy condition in the southwestern part of the island is expected to be somewhat enhanced in the next few days from the 19th of June. So spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in Galle, Mathura, Kandy and Urulia districts. Strong winds about 40 kilometers an hour can be expected at times on the western slopes of Central Hills, northern, north-central and northwestern provinces and the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Munragara districts. That was the weather report. And back to the headlines of this afternoon news broadcast. The President said that the future of Sri Lanka will be determined by the economic policies implemented over the next 5 years. Mr. Dr. Vandaguradara said that he will support a leader who has a far-sighted vision of the country's future program. Sri Lankan economy bounces back as inflation dips. Sharp industrial sector recovery. Person Week begins from tomorrow. It has been revealed that more than 300 people are arriving at the OPD and hospital to take treatment when compared to other countries in the region. In world news, Greek Coast Guard threw migrants overboard to their deaths, witnesses say. With that, we end our afternoon's broadcast. You're to Radio Sri Lanka and a message for you.